Hey gamers, Grant here. I wanted to try a different style of video where I talk about something that is very relevant right now. I've seen lots of discussion on social media about the frequency of tunneling and camping in DBD. It also gets brought up a lot in our community as well, so I wanted to share my opinions about what I would do to make it less prevalent for everybody. So first things first, I really like the dev's decision to increase the base kit BT to 10 seconds from 5 seconds. 5 seconds really did not feel like enough time to get to a solid structure to get away from the killer. The problem, however, is that the killer can body block the survivor, or survivors can body block for their other teammates, whether they're healthy or injured. And 10 seconds is a really, really long time when you're playing killer and you're trying not to tunnel and people are being really aggressive. Or it can feel really bad as survivor when the killer is body blocking you for a full 10 seconds and you can't really do anything. 10 seconds ends and then you get hit. Now, I can't take credit for this idea all by myself. I've seen it on social media, but I think it's a really good one. What I would do is I would remove unit collision from the survivor that recently gets unhooked. That way the killer cannot body block you and you cannot body block for your other survivors. The next thing I would do is buff DS back to 5 seconds from 3 seconds. Right now, it's kind of a joke against a lot of the meta killers. If you've seen any videos or use DS yourself, if you DS a nurse right now, you're going to go down within 5 seconds after it. The biggest problem here right now is that on the current patch, it kind of suffers from the same issue that the 5-second base kit BT does, where you don't have enough time to get to anything relevant. If the change back to 5 seconds doesn't seem like it makes DS strong enough, we could potentially do some changes on a PTB, but I don't think that's going to really be an issue. A potential change to DS could include make it usable twice during a trial, but decrease the duration down to 30 seconds. This could be good when killers show the propensity to hard tunnel somebody off of hook. You'll get double value from DS, and it'll give you a better chance of escaping the trial. All in all, I think buffing DS over the 5-second stun duration is pretty risky. The next change is definitely my most controversial one, but I think it could be good depending on how they implement it. The idea is to add a negative BP modifier post-trial based off of the time spent in proximity to a hook survivor while not directly in chase. I think the in chase clause is very important for this because there are a lot of times where survivors induce camping by running around the hook, and in that instance you don't want to be punished as a killer when there's not really anywhere else you should be on the map. However, if you're just face camping, not really contributing to the game state, then you will get a negative modifier, and it will overall de-incentivize people from doing it in their games. I think overall the majority of players really care about their progression, especially with a game like Dead by Daylight, which requires thousands of hours of grinding to get everything on every character. And I think this will do a really good job of incentivizing people to get away from the hook and chase unique survivors. I think it's worth noting as well that once the exit gates get powered, this will turn off, because you can't really do a lot in the in-game situations other than just kind of sit in front of the hook. My next idea is something that I've seen before, but I want to expand on it to make it a little bit more unique. I think that survivors should be given a portion of the BP that their teammates earn while they're on the hook. I think logically this makes sense because if you're taking the killer's attention away from everything else in the trial by having them face camp you, then you're essentially doing the most important job in the entire game. And in the current system, you're not rewarded at all for this. In fact, you're very heavily punished. You get very minimal BP, you get almost no pit progression, and you just can't do anything for 2 minutes straight, and you sit there and you die. Getting thousands of extra BP after a match when you get face camp would feel a lot better than it currently does, and also it would lessen the blow and make it so you could still continuously progress your account and not feel like you're wasting time. My last idea, and in my opinion the most important one, is to add some form of communication to the game for solo queue survivors. For a very, very long time, solo survivor has been the weakest role in Dead by Daylight, and not being able to get clear communication between your teammates is a really big hindrance, especially when compared to survive with friends. I think that either a very basic pinging system, essentially saying like I'm doing a gen or I'm going for the hook rescue, or just something that goes on your HUD to inform you of what other survivors are doing at different times, would go a really, really long way into making solo queue feel better. This would also take away a ton of the frustration of when you're playing solo queue and you're on hook and your teammates are doing nothing to contribute to the game state, not really saving you, and you're just sitting there waiting to get into your next game. Now, instead of wasting time around the hook trying to unhook in front of a Bubba, people will know that they should be doing gens instead because Bubba's in close proximity to you. They could power the gens and then try to go first save in the end game, or just leave and guarantee the 3 out instead. And also, come on behavior. It's 2022. Why is this not been implemented yet? So many popular games have this. I get DBD started as a horror game, and you wanted to make it so it's like spooky, so you can't communicate with other people, but please, help solo queue. I'm begging you. Well, gamers, that about wraps it up for me. I would love to hear what you think about my ideas and or what you would like to do to deal with the situation. If you like my content and you want to see more from me in the future, consider subscribing here or checking out my Twitch channel. The link is down below in the description. Our live stream is the best place for me to get to know yourself, and also it's the best spot for you to ask any questions that you might have. Thank you all for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye!